Hey guys, good to be with you this week. Just thinking about men's kickoff this last Wednesday. It was just good to be with all you guys for the first time. Yeah, I just honestly felt super encouraged. It was big. It was like 140 dudes, just like all getting together. I had this like woman come up to me and she was like single, and she said, let me know if there's any single guys here. I love a man who gets up at 6 a.m. for Jesus or whatever she said. So I was thinking about you guys, it's amazing. I know you guys get up before work and, honestly, probably before a lot of your families. And so it's really cool. And I really enjoyed it. And so morning we had the men's kickoff fraternity situation. And then in the evening we had our table group dinner. So like all of the facilitators of our table groups kind of came together. We had a barbecue. It was a good time. Had some beers, hung out, just kind of talked about what the year looked like and kind of where we're going. And it just was really cool. It's super encouraging. I love doing this. I love being with you guys and just hanging out with you. It's just good to be a part of this community and to be considered a friend. So thank you for welcoming me. It's really encouraging. It was a full week. But it was tiring. We had quick turnarounds. We had, session, our elder board meeting was called session. We had that till 10:30 on Tuesday, and then a quick turnaround to men's fraternity on Wednesday. I got up at 5:15 to get to the church. So it was tiring, but it was fulfilling. So super encouraged by you guys, and just love you guys. Thank you for having me. So if you remember, we opened up a series. We kind of broke the seal on a series last week called the I Am Statements of Jesus. And what these statements are, it's basically Jesus making a nod, kind of like he's borrowing a phrase from the book of Exodus. And he's borrowing this phrase from when Moses, in the book of Exodus, I think it's chapter 3, he met God for the first time. And he meets him in this kind of profound way. If you remember, it's like a burning bush situation. And he meets Moses and Moses asks God, like, when I go into Egypt to set these Israelites free, like, who do I say sent me? Who do I say was the person who is setting them free? And God responded and he said, let them know that I am sent you. Let them know I am sent you. So Jesus, what he does, fast forward thousands of years to the Gospel of John. Jesus is walking on earth in the first century, and he borrows that phrase, I am. He borrows that name, and he brings it into his kind of earthly ministry. His time on earth is 3 years of walking the earth and ministering to people. Anyway, so what Jesus is doing is this. He's saying something about himself. And I don't want you to miss it. I don't want you to miss that what he's saying, what Jesus is claiming that he is God. He is saying, I am God. Basically what he's saying is, I am Moses. I am the one who met Moses in the bush. Not Moses. He said, I'm the one who met Moses in the bush. I'm the one who led the Israelites out of slavery. I'm the one who was the still small voice for Elijah. Like, I am the one who split the Jordan River for Joshua. Like, what he's saying is he is this I am. He is this person, or this God. He really is Yahweh. And so what we did last week was we looked at the first I am statement of Jesus, which was, I am the bread of life. If you want to go back, you can. If you weren't able to meet us, make it in person for men's fraternity on Wednesday morning, you can go back and you can watch it. It's on our YouTube channel. But we're just going to keep on moving. So this week we're looking at the second I am statement of Jesus. And that statement is, I am the light of the world. And it comes from John chapter 8 at verse 12. So if you have a Bible, or if you have like your phone or whatever, or I'll just read it to you, but this is it. It's John chapter 8 verse 12. It says this: when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. It says, I am the light of the world. The second I am statement from Jesus. So John, the gospel writer. So there's 4 gospels, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And they're basically these biographies of Jesus. And what John is doing, like I said last week, John had looked back at these 3 gospels and he kind of said, okay, that's that's great information about Jesus, but I want to bring a new depth. I want to bring a new level to the life of Jesus. And it's very like cinematic, the way that he kind of writes his gospel. And when I mean cinematic, I mean like he uses themes. He's very creative. He's almost artistic in the way that he designs this book. And one of the ways that he's really creative is he has this one specific theme that's kind of running through from John chapter 1 all the way to John chapter 21, which is the last chapter. He has this one theme that he's working with, and that theme is the theme of light and dark, of light and darkness. And what he's doing is if you read through the Gospel of John, you'll see it, but he basically he makes a play on these words using different times of day, even using different phrases, but he says light and dark a lot. So next time you're reading the book of John, just pay attention to that. That'd be something that you'll notice is really cool. But I'll just give you one example of the light and the dark situation here. So there's the story, it's in John chapter 3. You're probably familiar with John 3:16, right? For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. You're probably familiar with that, but the story leading up to that is the story of Jesus interacting with this man named Nicodemus. And Nicodemus is kind of this religious leader. He's on the Jewish council, so he's kind of like a top dog. He's like on the board of the Jewish religion. And Nicodemus comes to meet with Jesus, but John notes the time of day. Like I'll read it to you. It's John chapter 3 at verse 1. It says, "Now there was a Pharisee. It was a man named Nicodemus, who was a member of the Jewish ruling council. And he came to Jesus at night and said to him, 'Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God, for no one can perform the signs you are doing if God were not with him.'" Do you notice it? He says, he came to Jesus at night. So the question that is raised when you're reading through and you start to notice this theme of light and dark is why? Like, why does John kind of want us to think about this theme of light and dark? And he actually just kind of blatantly says it at the end of John chapter 3. It's actually John chapter 3 at verse 19. He just blanket statement says it. It says this, John 3:19. "This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people loved darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil." So what John is saying is this. You want to know why I'm hinting at this theme of light and dark? Because light, Jesus, has come into the world. But humanity loves darkness. So you'll see it when you read through the Gospel of John. Start to notice when it's night. Notice when the theme of darkness comes in, and you'll start to see that it's going to be a situation with a character who has a lot of internal turmoil, or a dark situation like demonic, or something dangerous is happening, something that is evil, literally, what the Bible would call evil. And when it's light, it's something that's good. It's something that is kind of filled with the Spirit of Jesus. So the Gospel of John has this theme. It's light and dark. It's day and night. It's good and evil. And it's all centered around this idea that light has come into the world, Jesus, and it's invading darkness. It's attacking darkness. But John makes the point to say that people love darkness because our deeds are evil. Now, I don't have to tell anybody listening to this video or watching this video, like, no one would question darkness. No one. It's everywhere. Watch the news, like whatever, go on your phone, like spend time people watching for 15 minutes and you will see what the Bible calls evil, darkness. You'll see it, it's everywhere, right? And I was just reflecting, like, it's just so easy for me to kind of like cast the blame onto someone else, be like, oh, look at that darkness over there, you know, like, look how evil that situation is. And then for me not to like look inside of me and to see the darkness inside of me. It's like that, you probably are familiar with that parable of, or that analogy Jesus gives of like the plank in the eye, right? It's that same idea. But I was just thinking about how like I'm so quick to look at the world and be like, man, this place is dark. Like politics, just feels like corruption, and every situation just feels like there's some underlying manipulative situation. But all the darkness on the outside distracts me from the darkness on the inside. And I was just reflecting on how it's just wild how my instincts, and I'm sure you feel the same way, like my instinct is to do darkness. My instincts are dark. My instincts and your instincts, like our instincts, are literally to lie, to cheat, to steal, to be prideful, to lust, to sin in our anger, to drink, to drink too much. Our instincts, our initial response to situations are the opposite of light. They're dark. And so when Jesus says, I am the light of the world, I am the light of the world, he's making kind of a point to say, you need light. You need it. You need light. And we know that, right? It's not hard for us to kind of understand and to believe, really, that the way of Jesus is the way to human flourishing. Like we trust it, or we, at least we think we trust it, but we don't reflect it in our actions. Instead we choose darkness. We don't choose light. And so what Jesus is saying is like every moment you need the light of the world. Let me give you another passage. It's John chapter 1, verse 4 and 5. It says this: in him, in Jesus, was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So when you allow Jesus, when you allow the Holy Spirit into the darkest places of your soul, and I mean the darkest places, I don't just mean the ones that people kind of see. I mean like the pit of darkness in your soul. It's all there. We all have it. When you let him into there and light shines, when light meets dark, it wins every time. It wins every time. I remember being a kid. I remember being seriously, I was 11 years old, and we found this cave up in Crow Canyon. I don't even remember where it was. Found this cave, and we go up to this cave, and we're shining a light, and there's pitch black, and we shine the light, and it just, and that's how it is. When Jesus enters into the light, or enters into the darkness, it's boom, it's light. I don't have a lot of time left, so I was just thinking it's not a practical message unless I give you handles. And so the handle is this. It's an easy one. Actually, it's easier said than done, I'll say that. It's confess. I think there's a testament to confessing your sins. There's a power that it releases off of that sin. It's letting light in. When you confess, it lets light in. So my encouragement is this: hey, if you have a darkness in you, you need to let the light in. You need to receive Jesus and show him that darkness. But then you also need to confess it. You need to bring it out. Bring the darkness out. So find someone you trust, a buddy in your group, one of the guys, and let him in. That's it. And I just and I think many of you know this just from past experience. It's just dude, when you hold something in, it's you hold it in, and it creates a pressure on it, that makes it feel like it's worse than what it is. And then the moment you share it, it's it releases that pressure. So the encouragement is this: just confess to someone. Let Jesus in, let the light in, and then confess. Confess to someone. Just let someone in on your life a little bit deeper than you thought you'd go. All right, that's it, guys. Love you. Have a great time in your table groups. See you in a couple weeks.